Beach Club does the carousel, and I gotta say, I think that's actually cooler than the gingerbread house at Grand Floridian. I don't mean to, I know you love playing Grand Floridian.
Yeah, I do, but
so my favorite part of that whole event, though, is the cookie stuff. So
I knew that.
It's included. Yeah, she's shocked that I like
food.
I like sweet treats. You can also just tell them, like, let's look for Olaf as we go around the World Showcase.
I'm all in on Neil Patrick Harris. Like that's the reservation that I'm hoping to get. You gotta see the snow on Main Street at least once. I mean,
I will do
if
it.
you haven't done that, it's real. And I know those, you know, from Michigan, you're like used to snow, but honestly, it's really an experience in itself.
Those gingerbread cookies.
Oh. Yeah, I agree.
I don't think I've ever eaten that many cookies in one, like, sitting.
Welcome to Goofy Getaways with your hosts, Amy Blades and Amy Fisher.
Hi, I'm Amy Blades, owner and CEO of Goofy Getaways.
Welcome to the Goofy Getaways podcast. I am Amy Fisher. I am our social media and marketing director, and we are so excited to have you with us today.
Yeah, because two for the price of one.
You get two Amy's for the price of one. Obviously, we are not the same person.
No, but people think we are.
But today, we're going to share some holiday Walt Disney World stuff with you, and we showed up in our favorite holiday attire. You look so beautiful and professional.
And I'm laughing because if this doesn't just exemplify who we are, for as much as we do together and travel together, and there are a lot of things like, you're like, let's do our holiday stuff, and you got me in my right, like me and my professional, and then you with your, I love it. It's just fantastic.
Like the ears, wear to the park.
Yeah, you're not, very rarely will see me in ears. I'm glad that people love them, and yeah, but.
Yeah, I'm wearing a hat. I don't typically wear ears. This is as close as I get to really wearing ears anymore.
Hey, I do have cute earrings though. Can we give a shout out for a cute earring?
Those are beautiful. You have a great stylist.
Oh, I do. She also books trips, but we'll talk about that another time.
You know, she'll be on this podcast at some point in time. You better believe it. So, well, again, we are going to share some fun Walt Disney World focused holiday tips with you all, because the holiday season is basically here. Holidays at Walt Disney World start right after Halloween.
Oh, for sure.
People think that everything immediately flips, like you go from Halloween into like the next day, everything is Christmas. Please know that that is not actually the case. But yes, a lot of things start to flip very, very quickly. So Amy and I want to share some of the things that we really love, because the Walt Disney World parks are always magical all year round. But I think we can both agree,
100%,
as people who really love the holiday season, that there is just some extra magic.
When there's nothing. Can you say, like, there's nothing like, and I have different thoughts about parks and what I think is the best for the holidays, but there's something about walking on Main Street, the castle and that beautiful tree and the wreaths. I mean, it really is magical. I agree.
It is.
It's my favorite.
It's amazing.
Favorite night. Yeah.
Yes. So we're going to share some of those things with you. And Amy Blades, do you want to kick it off and just share, like, what is something that people may not realize is a really special experience at Walt Disney World during the holidays?
Yeah. And I really like to give people experiences that don't cost money too. So, I mean, obviously if you're there and you're saying it isn't, you're spending money, but there are some things that you can do while you're there that don't. And probably one of the cooler things are the gingerbread houses. There's nothing like going to the Grand Floridian when that gingerbread house starts to go up, but especially when it's there and that smell. Oh my goodness, you can't explain it. That's Christmas. Oh, that smell right there is Christmas. Yes. But and that's a large gingerbread house, and of course you can get
there's people that go inside, like, because they turn it into a shop. They sell gingerbread cookies out of it. There's people inside of it. Like, that's how big this gingerbread house is.
It's huge. It's huge. So I think that is always something that I try to tell people to go to. And a little tip, if we're giving little tips, parking at the Grand Floridian, even if you're renting a car, or even if you live in Florida and you're wanting to go to the Grand Floridian, just because their parking is so limited, even for people that are doing like dinner reservations and such, my little tip is to park, even at like the TTC, or even at Disney Springs, where you don't have to pay to park. If you're, depending what you're, if you're staying there, you're not going to have to pay to park anyway, but if you just want to go visit, and then take the transportation to the Grand Floridian, and then you can get on the monorail and you can go over to the Contemporary. They don't have as big of a gingerbread house, but they definitely have fun stuff that you can look at there. And does that different every year, Amy? I mean, I
They
know
do. I feel like the Grand Floridians is
the
very
same.
like it's very much like a cute cottage, and there's
Yes.
little differences each year, but it's
Yes.
basically the same thing. But the Contemporary, I feel like, changes theirs a bit from year to year. So like they did something that was like closer to like the Disney 100 celebration
Yes.
last
Yeah.
year and so
Little
that kind
different
of stuff.
theming, but if you're going to be at the Grand Floridian, definitely, go on the monorail, and heck, if you're doing that, I mean, take a stop at the Polynesian just to see the way that they're decorated too. Holiday, I love the way that the way Disney does holidays in general. I know we're talking about Walt Disney World today, but even Disneyland, and then even Disney Cruise Line with the very maritime sailings. But I think that definitely take time out of your stay to go visit and do things like that, and have just and make sure that you get some of the little holiday snacks too.
Yeah. And
But
every resort
I
gets
was,
decorated for the holidays. Every single Walt Disney World resort
yeah,
has holiday decor.
and
So
it's
they
usually
don't,
themed to like the theme of the
yeah,
resort, which is fun. Yeah.
they don't, oh, not all of them have the gingerbread
No,
houses.
no, I think Yacht and Beach Club, Beach
Yeah.
Club does the
So, yeah,
carousel.
Beach Club does the carousel. And I
Yeah.
gotta say, I think that's actually cooler than the gingerbread house at Grand Floridian. I don't mean to, I know you love playing Grand
Yeah, I
Floridian. I'm
do, but it's okay.
knocking
It's
it.
okay.
But I'm a yacht club girly.
Yes,
So
we
but
have. Yeah,
I just love that carousel. It is so, so beautiful and
yeah.
so impressive. Again, it's big, like
Oh,
taller than I mean, nobody gets on it, but you can,
you
and
could
it
if you wanted
moves.
to. It's yeah. I just think, man, wouldn't that be like the best? Like when I think about jobs, working at Disney and being able to be a part of that, it's pretty cool. They definitely think out of the box though. And I love that where they have like traditional stuff and they keep some things the same, but yet they kind of switch them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would say
I,
the best part of all of that is that you don't have to pay anything to walk
yeah.
through and get pictures. And great idea for family pictures too. If you do Christmas cards, great places to get Christmas cards too.
Yes, and you do not have to be staying
Mm,
at any Walt Disney World resort in order to go visit the other ones either. Like a lot of times people are like, "Well, I'm not staying at that resort, so I can't go there." Or they're like, "I'm not even staying on Disney properties." Like, no, you can go to the resorts, like because you can dine at the different resorts, but go check out the decor. I also Animal Kingdom Lodge, they don't do a gingerbread house. They do the gingerbread animals.
yes.
Like I think
Yeah.
last year I went and saw they had a zebra and I was like, how, how do the cast members truly cast members are the best, like
Yeah.
how do they
I
make
wouldn't
this
get any work done
come
by
to
looking at
life?
all that stuff. And that resort is phenomenal. It's gorgeous anyway, but then when they do like the different type theming, yeah. So that's kind of
So good.
my little tidbit about something that you can do that's
I
different. And
like
I
that
think
one.
people forget. I think sometimes it's our, people forget that there are things that you can do that don't cost anything.
Yeah, because I also have one that I want to share that doesn't cost anything either, and it's
Yes.
over at Disney Springs.
I already know what you're
it's
gonna say.
it's the Christmas tree stroll. So people don't realize that Disney Springs also gets decked out for the holidays. Like, yes, the parks do, yes, the resorts do, but so does Disney Springs. And they have this Christmas tree stroll. There's no
Oh,
cost. You just go get a little map and you can wander around. Here's
get
what's also very
stickers, take your
cool.
little stickers to make sure you're matching the right tree.
Yes. And like what I love is that it's valid like the whole length that you're there. So
Yeah.
I did it in like a series of a couple days. I know some people will take their like non-park day and go hang out at Disney Springs and do it that day. That's awesome too. But I really was like, I only have like 2 hours here and 2 hours there. So I just did it over the course of a couple of days when I was there. And it's so, so fun and
That's my
special. And like,
favorite. Like we made a so I've known that Disney has done this for years, right? And I'm well, that's cool. But usually for me, if we were traveling during that time, I had like that limited time to make sure I'm doing all the other things that I want to do. But we live in Orlando part-time and we're here part-time in Michigan part-time. So when we were in Orlando, my husband and I just made a day of it. Like we went early, we grabbed some of our favorite, coffee and snacks, and then I love how the themes of the trees, like they're so cool. There's so many different like, and I think that I mean, they're themes, but I think that there must be, you can like sponsor trees too. And so whoever sponsors it, the way that they decorate it. But yeah, we made a whole day of it. And I think I came home and even had said to you, like, did you know how cool this is? And he's like, yeah, like they've done that every year. And I'm like, well, I know that they have it every year, but like, have you actually done it? And it was just a really fun, is Florida in the winter anyway, walking around and having your coffee and getting your little sticker and putting them on. It was really
Yes.
cool. Yeah.
Maybe go over to the ganachery or over
Oh,
to like Goofy's little
Gideon's.
candy hut and get a little
Oh,
oh yeah, go get or the Ghirardelli's hot
yes.
chocolate, like and
Yeah.
walk around with that. But it's just a nice
Fun.
little like relaxing thing that you can do
Yeah.
during the day. And yet, like, especially if you have littles, because the littles are still gonna be able to identify
Yeah.
uh, like they'll have a Moana tree
Yes.
and they'll have a Frozen tree.
Yeah.
And so it's like, great. You got a little kiddo who's obsessed with Frozen, or this year, probably Moana 2.
Yeah.
Like, great. Send your little to be hunting for the Moana 2 tree because I'm sure there will be one.
And it's spread
So,
out like through the entire Disney
mhm.
Springs. So I like to call it like the old side of Disney, and that's my own thing. That's not like Disney calls it, but I love to just kind of start there, and then as you progress down, but like you're gonna make sure you go through everything because they're spread so many places. And you know what else? Sometimes I forget about is usually like that time of the year. There's some sort of dance team or choir or band, like kids performing, so you can usually hear that music while you're going around. It's just kind of fun. It's just a different feel. And yeah. And
Yeah,
it can
people
get
underestimate.
busy, but my little tip too is to do it in the morning. Um, but you definitely want to see the trees at night because they're beautiful. But I guess that's kind of your own preference because now I just
The
said
good
you should go
news
in the
is it
morning,
gets
but
dark
really
early in
yeah.
Florida. So, like at that time of year anyway.
Yeah,
So the thing is,
definitely.
like, it'll probably be dark around like 6:30.
Yeah.
So it's like
See the
great
light.
if you go around lunchtime and spend the afternoon during the daytime so you can like really see everything.
Yeah.
Grab dinner, take one more less little stroll past your favorite two trees to see them lit up, and then
Yeah. Yeah,
you know
but I would say that's, man, there are so many things I think about at the holidays, but yeah, we did that for the first time last year and it was a lot of fun. Love
it's a good time.
Yeah.
All right, so I know that there is a specific holiday experience that is one of your favorites, Amy, and it happens over at Epcot. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that holiday experience?
Okay. I think Epcot hands down has the most. Each park, see, I feel guilty when I say this. Each park, they do cool stuff. But Epcot, I love, well, okay, I do love the Candlelight Processional, which I know that we will talk about later. I love the tradition of that. But I absolutely love Festival of the Holidays. My favorite thing is going to the countries and you can listen to, I want to make sure I'm saying this right, and I probably like should have taken notes, but I think it's like the Christmas storytellers. I think it's storytellers
Oh my
where
gosh,
you can.
they're so good.
Oh my goodness. It hands down Festival of the Holidays at Epcot, I think is, and you can spend the entire day there and it's kind of a learning experience too. Just a really, it's culture. But I love it. I mean, you learn something new every year I go and I don't know, that's my favorite thing. It is. There's so much
I
to do
love it.
there though. There's so many things because you can do the storytellers, you can do the candlelight processional. Every country is decorated for the how or what it is that they celebrate, which I love too. I mean, I personally celebrate Christmas, but there are many people that don't, and I love that they talk about Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. I love it. I love it. Everything about it. It's my favorite. But I'll let you
It
talk about it a little too, because I'll keep
It's
repeating the
so
same thing.
like, and they do a cookie stroll. So
Oh,
they obviously, so every Epcot festival has food booths. So you can go around to the different food booths and they have holiday based food. I will say it was like, I was there last year and they had this like hot cider type of a thing, but it was not an apple cider. It was a very fruity, like warm drink though, but it was one of the most delicious things I've ever had in my entire
Ooh,
life. Like I
okay.
want to say it was like a hot cranberry cider type. It was so
Oh,
good. I don't even remember what it was. I'll have to dig back through my pictures, but I
yeah,
love that. Like there's just so many cool things that you can do. There's the Olaf scavenger hunt.
which is
So
fun.
again,
That's
if
fun.
you've got your little
That's so
Frozen
fun.
fan,
Yeah.
you can either get the official park map. Yes, that's fun. But like, you can also just tell them like, let's look for Olaf as we go around the World Showcase,
Yeah.
which is super cute too. And I love the storytellers. I probably rewatched the Hanukkah storyteller like 4 times last year
Wow.
because they were just so captivating and
Mm.
so talented. And I was like, this is so good. Like, this is amazing. Again, I celebrate Christmas, but I was like, I love like that
I do
you can
too.
learn about all these
I do
different
too.
holiday experiences and just enjoy the beauty that is the holiday season, no matter how you choose to celebrate.
And he says, ho, 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 who is this? Santa Claus, ah. Now, I don't want to brag, but I'm going to be honest with you. I have been bringing the bambini the gifts down the chimney long before old Saint Nick was a bambino himself. That just means I'm old. Okay. Tell me, Santa Claus, what does he fly?
You know, another
That's
thing too that is fun are the like at the memory maker, like the photos. A lot of times at the holidays, like at the parks, they have different holiday themed. So that's always fun too. I mean, it made me think of like the countries at Epcot. You
Mhm.
always can get pictures and stuff there too, because that's a really fun thing too.
It is so good. So I have not personally done the candlelight processional, but Amy, I want to like I know so many people love it. It sells out when they have the dining packages
Yeah.
every year. So Amy, can you tell us a little bit about what the experience is of the candlelight processional and
Oh,
why it's so special for
yeah.
you?
I think that it's traditional Christmas, obviously, and they do it in America, 'cause, you know, and it is the thing that's really cool is that they bring in choirs like from the Orlando area. Like it's a big choir and it's Christmas carols. And then you have celebrity narrators and they give, I mean, I think they just released the list, which I will be honest and tell you, I'm going to go see it this year for the first time. I've seen it at Disneyland a couple times, but Disney World, I've not actually been in person. Dining package, I think, is the best way to ensure that you're going to get a spot. I think it's worth the investment. Uh, I don't know if it's just nostalgic, maybe is probably why I love it so much. And I talk about making sure that I have clients that, you know, if they celebrate Christmas, I think it's just makes it truly feel like Christmas. I don't know, like when you go to Disney, especially because it's warm, you know, in Orlando, and sometimes like when we've been down there, like it doesn't really feel like Christmas. But when you go, they do such a good job. And for me, the candlelight processional, because I'll watch it. I mean, I always watch like the live recordings of it too. And I don't know, for me, it's just the magic of the whole story of Christmas. And yeah, I'm kind of
Yeah.
a traditional gal, and so I like that. I think it's just about the experience and the feelings that you get. For me, it's nostalgic and just, you
Mhm.
know, we don't hear like traditional Christmas um songs anymore. And I just, ooh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think some of the choir people are also cast members, which I think
Yes.
is really, really
Yes.
cool.
Isn't that cool?
They
Yeah.
allow the cast members to like audition to be part of the choir
Yeah.
experience. And like you said, there's different celebrity narrators.
Yeah.
I will say, so last year I had intended to go. And I had a dining package. There were some things that like changed in my trip. So I canceled my like dining reservation for it. And I'm so mad that I did
Oh.
because I was like, oh, no big deal. There are so in Epcot at Regal Eagle,
Mhm.
it's a quick
Yes.
service dining,
You
and so
can
they're supposed to have
yeah.
same day options for you. They were sold out. I went almost every single day of my trip, and
And
it
they were
it was
sold
sold
out.
out every single day for the
It's
quick
a
service.
hot
So please,
like
please, if you're
plan
thinking
ahead.
about going, do not plan on Regal Eagle. Like if you truly want to go to Candlelight, you need a real dining
Yeah.
reservation with like that will because when you go to that dining reservation, it's going to give you a ticket with a specific like
Yeah.
return time because there's usually 2 to 3 shows each night. But people literally, Brendan Fraser was the celebrity narrator, like the dates that I was there.
Yeah.
The park opened for early entry at 8:30 in the morning. I was staying at Beach Club, so like
Oh
I
my.
walked in the back door, and I went to like walk past because I was going to go walk over to Regal Eagle and see if they were open for me to get my thing, which they weren't. But still, people rope dropped to go stand in line for Candlelight Processional. That the first showing wasn't till 5 p.m. that night.
Oh yeah. Do a dining reservation.
Please don't, please do it. If you're, I mean, maybe if you're a local and you're like, I have nothing better to do today, I'm going to go sit in line. Like people literally brought pillows and blankets to sit in line all day.
Oh,
That's
wow. That's dedication. That in itself
that's
should be
another
an
level.
advertisement, I think. But yeah,
But that tells you how good it is if people are camping out all
100%.
day for it.
100%.
But yeah, I think the dining reservation, 100%, if you're going, is the way to be able to experience it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I will say that, I don't say this lightly. I mean, I've said it about things, but not, I mean, and it might sound like, oh my gosh, Amy, you're over the top. But when we went, we had Viola Davis at Disneyland. It was a life-changing thing for me. I mean, I can't explain it, but it's just, kind of just the feel of it, I don't know, just the whole thing, just the lights and the choir and then their candles. And it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful.
it's amazing. And be sure to keep an eye out because they do actually like Processional in, which is, we ended up seeing that at Disney. I know we're
Yes.
talking about Walt Disney World, but
No,
y'all, that
but
happened
we
at
were together.
Disneyland as well.
Yeah.
Since we're kind of like mentioning this, I also need to say, so the Disneyland Candlelight Processional, just so you're aware, it happens only the first weekend in December.
Yeah.
And you cannot book tickets or dining package for the Candlelight Processional. You need a ticket and a park pass reservation for Disneyland Park that day.
Mhm. We waited
but
in
like,
line.
If you want to sit down at that one, you have to be invited.
Yes.
Or get really lucky because once they've filled in the invited people, then they'll open it for whoever's
Yes.
standing there to kind of like fill in. Right.
And it's kind of like a rope
It
drop.
was
Like
so
if you, oh
yeah,
my
it was
goodness.
so beautiful. We watched Viola Davis and then we went
It
to like
was
go walk
awesome.
around the rest of the park and we caught the next processional coming in. And I remember getting goosebumps just seeing them as they're like
It was beautiful.
singing and walking along the Main Street USA. And you're just like, oh my gosh.
No, yeah. And I remember saying that too. I remember being like, I really said like, Amy, this is one of those experiences that's kind of like, life-changing. Like you stop, you see them on Main Street. And it's
beautiful.
I'm excited. I'll love to report back this year.
Yes.
Because I've seen it so many times, but just not, in person. So
At Epcot.
at Epcot. So excited.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so I want to share, right? So you talked about Epcot Festival of the Holidays. I'm not gonna lie, my like top experience during the holidays at Walt Disney World is Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. I understand this is a special ticketed event, so this is not free. This is in addition to a park ticket type of a cost scenario.
Snow on Main Street.
But like it is, it's just, again, Christmas girly here. Like freaking love it all. And I love that event so much. It's like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party where it's, 7 p.m. until midnight. You can get in starting at 4 with your special event ticket. But they have a special parade. They have special fireworks. They have special character meet and greets. You can meet like Winnie the Pooh and his friends in like cute little scarves. Minnie and Mickey are usually together in their like holiday wear.
Mm-hmm.
You can meet Jack Skellington dressed up as Sandy Claus. So like there's just so many cool
Hot
little
chocolate.
things. So my favorite part of that whole event though is the cookie stuff. So
I knew that.
It's included. Yeah, she's shocked that I like
food.
I like sweet treats and food related. So you can go around the park and they have these cookie stops where you can there's either eggnog or hot chocolate or hot cider, as well as like a certain kind of a holiday cookie at each of the spots. You don't know which spot has which thing in advance. But it's just so beautiful. Those gingerbread cookies that they have.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think I've ever eaten that many cookies in one like sitting. Like I love sweets and I eat them a lot, but like usually it's a little more spread out. And like, shoot, if I eat another one of these, in fact, I actually had to leave the party early last year because I felt sick. I was like, oh,
I had
too many cookies.
It's
It
just
was
fun,
so
and it's
good.
such a just that, I don't know, it's just a great event for families. And I know that it is
Yeah,
extra. And there are some things that I will tell people, or, our clients, that I think are not worth paying like an extra for. But the Very Merry Christmas Party is definitely something that I at least experience once. Like if you're at
absolutely.
least, yeah.
It's a chance. So like I am very much not stay out late type of a person. And I recognize, so I always have the conversation with clients if they have younger kids that it's like, hey, if you think kids are not going to make it for the length of, because it's like, if you really want to appreciate the value of the party, you've got to go for at least a few hours and it doesn't
Yeah.
start till 7 p.m. So if you've got littles, they might not go to bed. They go to bed at 7 o'clock. I go to bed at 8 o'clock when I'm at home normally. So I always have that conversation with clients that I'm like, I really feel like it's worth the value if you can make the next day a rest day at your
Yeah.
resort so everybody can sleep in, take a nap before you go to the party.
And
But
you want to
like,
take advantage of that, get your money's worth. I mean, because
yes,
I'm not one that likes to stay out late either. But when you're going to do an event like that, you're going to find that the benefit of it is really the longevity of the whole time that you're there. I
absolutely.
think.
And what's cool is like some of the rides are open during it. They
Yes.
do Space Mountain has they play like a Christmassy song
Yep.
and have like red and green lights flashing around. It's like unless you
Yeah.
ride Space Mountain accidentally with the lights on, which doesn't happen very often, right? But like
Yeah. The Jingle Cruise.
like the
The
most you can
Jungle
see.
Jungle Cruise. You have
Yeah.
the Jingle Cruise.
Yes.
That's fun.
That happens during the day as well. So that one's not exclusive to the party. In
Yep.
fact, I usually tell my clients, I'm
You're
like,
right. You're
go
right.
go during the day to Jingle Cruise because when it's dark out, you don't get to see the same details
Yeah,
on Jingle
that's a good point.
Cruise. So
Yeah.
like it's not worth it for party hours, in my opinion. But go during the day for sure, because I
Yeah.
think it's really cute. And I like that I love the corny jokes that the cast members tell on Jungle Cruise and Jingle Cruise. So
Yeah.
I love that
But
they
it's a
do
whole
like
different
holiday rendition.
Yes.
It's like dad jokes the whole time. So maybe that's why I appreciate it, because my dad does the same thing.
And I'm a huge, well, you know this, Amy. I love to people watch. And I love, we're talking about holiday, but like especially like the Halloween party, the costumes. The Christmas party, don't count that out, because there's some interesting attire, and it's magical though. It's fun. It's so fun to watch people and watch what they choose. A lot of people, some people dress up too. I mean,
Mhm.
it's fun. It's
Yeah,
fun.
I mean, like
Ears
I think I wore a different shirt, but like this was like my general get up for
for the holiday.
that party last year. I love the parade at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas
I do
Party
too.
too.
I do too.
It's so good. Just like the normal parade route, it'll start back in Frontierland over by Tiana's, like kind of in between Tiana's and Pirates, and then it makes its way up through Liberty Square in front of the castle and then up Main Street.
I think they do
And
it
like
twice.
they
Just
usually do
like,
it twice.
and I will say, this is me too, who I'm like, I'm gonna wait and go to the last parade because I'm gonna get to do some other stuff. Okay, and then it gets to be like 9 o'clock, and I'm like, I'm gonna. So make sure, when Amy was saying, when like you're talking through like with either your travel consultant or your family or whatever, it sounds silly to plan ahead on that, but know ahead the things that you definitely want to do, and then kind of plan out, if you really want to see the parade, maybe you should see it early. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying,
And
because-
Disney has not released the true like
No.
event guide yet for this year's Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, at least not at the time that we're recording this episode, which
Yes,
is like
of course.
in October. So just as a heads up, they may release it by the time that we do that. But with that piece of it, I know for the Halloween party this year, they moved. So they've always had two parades. They actually moved the first parade earlier into the evening. So they like spread out the parades a little bit more. I thought that was great when I was at the Halloween party this year. I was like, that was actually really nice that they had
Having
one
more
even earlier. So that'd be great if I hope that they do that again for the Christmas party, that they do. Because it used to be like 9 and 11 or something around those.
And they
those
did make it
times.
earlier. Yeah.
And they made it like
earlier
8
this
or
year.
8:15 or something.
Yes, 8:15.
So
Yes.
yeah, so it's kind of cool that they moved that up a bit so that they're more spread out, but two,
And I
like,
love that
oh.
the parade, and it's themed towards Christmas. So you're going to see characters that you wouldn't typically see in holiday stuff. I mean, but it is the Christmas party,
Yeah.
so they celebrate Christmas for the parade. But yeah, I just love the whole Santa. I think Santa's beautiful. The Santa, and so there's just something about watching Santa on Main Street too. It's just a great. I love the little extra things that they do.
You said they do snow on Main Street,
They
right?
do snow on Main Street.
See, I've never watched it from Main Street because I'm
Oh,
like
you
I've got to
haven't.
take advantage of every moment of the party. So like I'm usually watching elsewhere so that I can rush off to the
Oh,
next thing.
snow on Main Street,
Mm,
especially if you're from Michigan and you're in, Florida for the holidays and it doesn't feel quite like home.
doesn't feel quite like Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
But I
That-
agree with
yeah.
you. I think there's so many things to choose at Walt Disney World about the holidays. They're cheese and Pete's. I feel like there's so many things that you can choose. And we talk about one and I say it's my favorite. And then we start talking about another and I'm like, oh man, that's my favorite too. So
There's so
definitely come
so-
rested and know that you're going to need a couple days after your trip to have a little bit of downtime for sure. Because there's a lot to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, every resort decorates for the holidays. Disney Springs decorates for the holidays. All the parks have holiday decor and experiences and things like that. Hollywood Studios has really upped their game. They've got
Just gonna
Jollywood
say
Night this
Jollywood
year.
Night.
They
And
also
there was a lot
they-
of like
yeah.
not controversy, but there were a lot of thoughts on Jollywood Nights last year. And I really think that if you were someone that went like on that, like the first night compared
which was
to the rest,
let's go ahead and admit
and
the first
everyone
night was
talked
not
about
good.
it. I mean, and I will say that's something that Disney does. They listen to feedback from their guests. And I really think that they made a huge attempt at rectifying the things that didn't work. And I'm excited for this year. I went last year. I'm gonna go again this year because I really do feel like they try to make things better. So I'm excited. I think that this might be an unpopular opinion that Hollywood Studios is my favorite park. The way that it's decorated at night, it's like the traditional, the old, the big ornaments, in the middle of the wall, just the whole thing. But Jollywood Nights, I think that, I mean, we should at least mention that because
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
excited
to see what they
the
pull out for this
difference.
year. And they've even added some like
Yeah.
new daytime entertainment that's holiday themed at Hollywood Studios. So I won't lie, I'm gonna go to Jollywood Nights just to watch the ice skater
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
The skater show. Listen,
yeah.
I think is what it's called.
I'm
like that
excited.
looks really cool. Like
Yeah.
so, and they did release the foodie guide. Shocker, but I was like, oh my
Oh my
gosh, it
goodness.
looks so
This is
good.
what I hope that they get right. I hope that was one of the biggest frustrations are the lines waiting to get the food. And another lesson for people would it's really fun to be there on the first night to get content when you're an agency owner or you're a blogger or a vlogger, all of those things. But I would encourage you to go a little bit later in the opening of it because the wait times were crazy for the food. That was a really long sentence about what I was trying to say, but I
So
mean,
what she's trying to tell you is that it honestly at any Disney or truly this happens at any theme park.
Yes.
This is not exclusive to Walt Disney World. In any theme park scenario, so I know we're talking about Walt Disney World, but even like upcoming Epic Universe, right? The first day that something
It's
is
gonna be-
open, that something new opens, all of the local content creators slash even some like distant content creators, they basically just like and they're not there to do rides, right? So like
No.
Jollywood Nights, right? There are attractions that are open. You can go ride Slinky Dog. You can go do some of the attractions. The people who were there that night, that's not what they were doing.
No.
They were 100% trying to get exclusive party content. So it was like the shows were it, the food was it. And I also think some of the shows, some of the entertainment things weren't happening because it was raining.
Correct. And I will
That
say
first
weather
night. And so
weather
that
was
just,
not
like-
kind. Weather was not kind either. I'm excited this year we're doing the Brown Derby because it is something a little different than what they did last year. They did like the jazz lounge, but I think that's one of the things that they made a tweak to. So I'm super excited to be able to tell everyone about that too. We do have a reservation for that, which my husband
Yeah.
loves jazz. So I'm excited.
It's gonna be a good part. I think
I think
like
so
you said, right? Like Disney listens and makes adjustments. So and this
Yeah.
is why, if you take a trip, give your travel consultant constructive feedback that you're like, here's what we liked, and here was something that we didn't really love. And we could sometimes take that.
for sure.
Um,
It's
you know,
yes. It's
further
like
up the food chain and have conversations about like,
they like
because
constructive.
truthfully, like Disney listens to
Yeah.
travel agents. They do.
Yeah.
When we're like, hey, our clients are telling us these things, this is what they liked, this is what they didn't like. Disney listens. Now, ultimately, Disney is a business. We are all
Right.
very aware of that,
Right.
right? Like they're going to make choices that make sense for them to make money. We are aware of that piece, but at the same time, they do listen when we say things. So
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the changes are going to be. I am. There is so much to do. As we're sitting here talking about this, there is so much to do. It's like finding the time to, that's because you're still if you still have people that are wanting to experience Disney for the first time and you're trying to guide them through that on top of all the extras. Yeah, it's magic. Magic, magic. I know the word gets
All of it.
overused, but it's real.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about the holidays in the parks for hours and hours on end, but this was kind of like the focus of this one. So we need to jump into our Amy's All In.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is right, our fun segment where we tell you what are we all in about, specifically related to the holidays at Walt Disney World. So Amy Blades, I need to know from you, like, what is your all in that you're like, this is a must do, or maybe a couple things that you're like, absolutely have to do it, or maybe like a couple pro tips that is related to the holidays at Walt Disney World.
All right, I'm all in. I am all in on the Christmas tree stroll at Disney Springs. Was one of my favorite things that we did last year. I'm all in. You've got to do it. It doesn't cost anything. And it was just an experience. And I love Christmas trees and I love decorations anyway, but the different theming and so that 100%, that would be my number one thing. Cause I love it. Cause even Florida residents and I don't mean to like keep saying that, but sometimes when you live there, you experience it differently. And I still like to make sure people know you can still have magic, even if you're living right there. And then hands down, I'm all in on the Candlelight Processional. I've always been all in on that, being able to watch it while it's happening, then being able to see it live last year, but not at the park. I'm all in on that. And I'm all in on Neil Patrick Harris. Like that's the reservation that I'm hoping to get. I think it's going to be amazing. And I mean, I could list all the things we talked about. But those are the two things that I'm super excited about this year. What are you all in on? What's your all in?
Okay, so my all in, I'm going to say is, I'm going to say the storytellers specifically at Festival of the Holidays. Like, don't skip the storytellers. It's, even if you have kids who have like short attention spans, it's usually like a short story or a short song, and they often make it a little bit interactive. I'm also going to say that I am not a person that enjoys interacting with those scenarios. And I feel like cast members do a very good job. And like the performers do a very good job of reading the room of like, who can I interact with in the crowd versus like, because like they could tell I'm like sitting there filming content and I'm like, don't you dare talk to me. And they could read that. But it's really fun. And I think kids, truly anyone at any age is going to enjoy the storyteller. So that's going to be like my first one. You just needed a ticket to Epcot. There's no additional cost for the storytellers. You just have to have your ticket. So, but then I'm not gonna lie, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Like,
Amy, it's just the cookies.
I know,
it's just the cookies.
That it costs extra, but like, y'all, I would probably pay that price just for the cookies if I'm being truthful. But there's so many cool things that you get to experience. Like, and again, because I'm such a holiday person, I just love it so much. I love the character the different like photo ops, the characters that you get to meet during it, the cute little stage show that they put on. Like,
Amy, you have to promise me that you've got to see the snow on Main Street at least once. I mean,
I will do
if
it.
you haven't done that, it's real. And I know those, from Michigan, you're like used to snow, but honestly, it's really an experience in itself. You got to try it.
It's for sure. It's for sure different. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to have to watch the next time I do Mickey's Christmas Party. I'm going to have to watch it from Main Street so that I can see the snow and not rush off to my next cookie stop.
Yeah. And I think in talking about that with families too, sometimes you're always rushing to get to the next thing. You want to do the next thing. You want to do the next thing. That's a really think about that and plan that out and talk about it before you go, because not that there's things that you want to miss, but there are things that you could kind of miss to do the things you really want to do. And I'm always telling everyone, you're paying a lot of money to be there. And so really try to take it all in. I know, and I'm preaching to the choir, because when I go by myself, I'm taking my time. And then I always like to say my girls, like that work for me. But Amy, when we travel together, she makes sure that I'm taken care of. And this is where we're going, this is what we're doing. And it's a really good thing that I do go with you, because I wouldn't be able to experience those things because I'd just be lackadaisical. But try to take in what you're doing. You paid a lot of money to be there. It's an experience that is different than anything else that you're going to do. And Amy is not rushing. She's not rushing this year. She's going to see the snow on Main Street. I'm going to make sure.
Yes. Yeah. That's something that I've been trying really hard to learn, to be quite honest,
Yeah.
because again, I didn't grow up going to Disney over and over again. And so for those of you that are like, I've got one trip, right? And you're not sure if you're ever going to go back. Sometimes you're like, I have to do it all. And I try to have this conversation with my clients too, while I'm trying to fix my own behaviors, that it's like,
Yeah.
Good luck. You are not going to do everything at Disney. Like you would have to, I've gone 20 plus times now, and I still haven't seen and done everything.
No.
Clearly, I'm talking about I haven't seen the snow on Main Street. So there's always something new to do at Disney. There's always something different. Enjoy the magical moments that you get versus rushing from one thing to the next and feeling like, oh, we have to do this and we have to do that and we have to do that. Like you don't. And the magic of Disney is just to be there and hopefully to be with the people that you love. I'll say I've also taken many solo trips, and I also just enjoy being present with myself in the magic and not feeling like, oh, I have to go do this now or anything like that.
And I think, some of the things we're talking about all in, and some, I really try to focus too on not things that are just going to be extra ticketed items. And I think that's why we really do try to give you that. But if you're someone that is watching, every penny, and like the trip that you're paying for is the trip you can pay for. You can't pay for anything additional. Disney really does a good job of still making sure that you're going to feel like that holiday magic in each of the parks. As much as we're telling you, we definitely recommend doing like the Very Merry Christmas Party and Jollywood Nights. You're still going to have an amazing time. And I really think that's where Epcot hits it out of the park, as far as not having to do an added event. But if you're only able to do like one of the extra events, as much as I like Jollywood Nights, I still think Very Merry Christmas Party is really, really good for families. But yeah, remember that you don't always have to do the extra. That's why I love that we talk about the Christmas tree stroll and stroll through the like when we talked about the gingerbread houses and the resorts. It doesn't cost anything. Park at Downtown Disney and take time to go through there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully you enjoyed hearing a little bit about our thoughts of some of the holiday magic and some tips and tricks and experiences for you. We appreciate that you listened in today on this podcast episode. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like and save and share with family and friends so you can continue to tune in for more episodes. We also want to hear from you. What do you enjoy most about the holidays at Walt Disney World? Or truthfully, any travel destination? We just would love to hear that. So please feel free to go ahead and share those comments with us. You can connect with us on social media. And our next podcast that will be coming up will be some cruising tips for you as well. Amy Blaze and I have both done a few different cruises. And so we're going to be sharing some different tips and tricks with you for cruising. But Amy, if someone is interested in working with Goofy Getaways, what steps do they need to take to get into?
If you're interested in working with us, one of our travel consultants, we are ready and excited to help you plan a magical vacation. So all you got to do is go to goofygetaways.com and you can take a peek at like meet our team, and you can take a look and see if there's an agent that you want to work with, or if you just want to work with us and you don't care who it is that you're going to work with, you can always email info@goofygetaways and we will match you up with somebody. And remember, we're going to say this over and over just so you remember that our services are complimentary. And honestly, there are times that we're actually going to save you some money too. I promise that we try. How about that? I promise that we really, really try. If you're someone that does like to still have that personal phone call, we do obviously have an office phone number that you can call, and that is on the website as well. So we are looking forward to helping you create some magic. So thank you so much for joining us. Please give us a chance to lead you to the magic. We will see ya
real soon.
If you liked today's episode of the Goofy Getaways podcast, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember to follow Goofy Getaways on social media so we can lead you to the magic.